What's up, everyone? My name is Melissa McCack, and I'm here with my brother, Justin Maycack.
Hey, everybody.
You're listening to /watching Room 51, a podcast where we talk about all things board gaming. This is a continuation of our our top 51 list, Room 51, top 51, whatever. And I think we are now up to number 30 to 21.
Yes.
Super pumped, very excited. I've been loving doing this. It's been a dream come true.
Yeah, definitely. I'm hyped to talk about this section. I don't know, I've been hyped to talk about just about every
Yeah, all
section,
of
but
them.
this section in particular, for some reason, I'm like really hyped for.
Well, we're about to get to the top half of our list in just
Exactly.
5 of these games. So midway through this video, we're going to get to our top half of the list, which is super exciting. All right. So
I
let's
think that
go on to what's up.
I was just to say, I think that this like specific section for me were the games that I was surprised, like, I actually really like this game, and like it kind of hit this portion of the list. I was like surprised just how much I love these games when I really thought about it.
Okay, cool. So then let's do it. Let's do it down with our number 30.
All right. So number 30 was a game that like hit all expectations for me. It's from Pandasaurus Games. Came out in 2017, Dinosaur Island.
Okay.
I was hearing that the color scheme of the game, like some people liked it, and then some people are like, no, it's like too loud. I like it. I think it's fitting for the game. I like the pink dinosaurs. So that whole argument, I'm like, nah, I'm cool with the color scheme of the game. The theming of the game, I mean, it's like a Euro Jurassic Park. You're making your own little dinosaur park in a very Euro-y fashion. And I thought that was the gameplay plays really well. It's super thinky. And I think I've played it at like each length that you can play at, short, medium, and long. Like I've played it at all three, and I find each to be a fulfilling experience, with the next level up just being somewhat more fulfilling.
Okay.
And instead of it feeling like a sort of game, kind of there, really there, it was like, nope, that was awesome. That was even better. Wow, that was really great. Like each way was awesome. Um, and yeah, the decision making in the game is a lot of fun, and it's really cool to see your dinosaur park expand and grow into something interesting. It's fun to deal with the hooligans, hiring different people to do different stuff. It's a thinky, fun, like 2 hour-ish game. Huge thumbs up for me. So that's my number 30, Dinosaur Island.
I dig it. Fun fact, that was my very first Teach the Teach video
Yeah.
that I used pretty much like as the audition to be able to do that segment on the Dice Tower.
That's
Cool.
it. I thought that was a really good one for you to use too, because the game is interesting how the boards itself lay themselves out from phase to phase within a round. Like there's phase 1, 2, 3, and 4, I believe.
Hmm.
Uh, so yeah, I thought that was an interesting one to start off with, because I think that's an interesting teach of a game. Like it's an interesting way to teach the game.
Yeah, I make really good life decisions. So
Yeah.
my number 30 is a one versus all game with a theme that I have loved since probably I was born. I'm talking about Fury of Dracula. I've always loved vampires. They've always fascinated me. I always thought that Dracula was this mysterious, interesting villain. And I think that had I known that this game existed when I was like 10, I don't think the game did exist when I was 10, but if it did and I knew about it, I would have been all over this game. I've been like, what? It is so good. You're pretty much one player is playing as Dracula versus everybody else who is the investigators, characters that come straight out of the books, like Van Helsing and all that. And you're hunting down Dracula, and Dracula's trying to evade everyone and turn, you know, helpless civilians, I guess, into vampires. And Dracula's trying to pretty much dominate Eastern Europa. And the investigators are trying to stop that and put a stake through his heart. I love this game. There's a lot of tension going into it. The little battles that go on with Dracula, that's another one with this, because it's a hide and seek type of game, but it's not one where it's like, oh, you found me, done. It's like,
Yeah.
no. You got to find Dracula usually multiple times and then battle it out with him, get better equipment. It's got like this RPG style game wrapped into it, which is cool because you're going to different towns and cities and everything, trying to get uh, better items to ultimately defeat Dracula. And it is hard to defeat him. He's powerful, man. And he gets more and more powerful as the game goes on, even though he's getting weaker and weaker in terms of life points. But anyway, that's my number 30, Fury of Dracula.
Yeah, I love that game. I'm really shocked on how low this game is on your list. I thought this was a shoo-in for your top 10, and it didn't even
Okay.
hit your top 25. That's
I
kind of shocking.
I don't think that I like it possibly as much as you do because there's a couple reasons. So one, it's a little bit lower because we haven't played it all that often, and I would like to play it more. It might rise on my
It
list.
it's hard to get to the
Yeah,
table. I
it
agree.
is. Yeah,
It's
it's
tough.
kind of long. It's like a
Yeah.
3 hour game. Sometimes I feel as the investigators, you're it gets to the point, and maybe it's just because I'm not playing it very well, but I feel like I'm getting to the point at points where I'm sort of just doing the same thing over and over where I'm like, okay, I'm going to stay here, grab cards. All right, he might be here. I'll move here and then I'll grab some more cards, and it starts to
Yeah,
feel a little bit samey as the game goes on. Needless to say, it's in my top 30 games of all time. I really like this game,
of
but that's,
course.
I think, why it's lower on the list for me.
Yeah, how much do you like hidden movement? I
I
think
love
that
it.
you do. Okay, because I
I
was
love
saying
it.
this feeling that I was liking it more than you.
Yeah.
Okay, but you do love it. All right, I
I
wasn't
love it.
sure.
Yeah.
All right.
It's mostly that's the what I just explained was why it's a little bit lower on the list for me.
All right, awesome. So you're 29.
Yeah, number 29 coming in hot. This is a game again, haven't played it as much as I would like to have played it. Um but it's interesting. Everybody has their own faction, their own set of deck of cards that you're going with, and you're trying to settle. I'm talking about Imperial Settlers. You have your own. This is the part that I love about this game. You have your own faction. You're learning that own deck of cards, kind of like Keyforge in a way, where like you're learning that deck of cards you get. Um, but yeah, you're just trying to see like, okay, what are the combos for this deck? What could I do? But it's also interesting because it doesn't take all that much to sort of learn your deck to understand what you're trying to accomplish with it. You could go through the deck, look at it, and you're like, okay, I kind of see what this deck is trying to do, right? Whereas some things, like possibly Keyforge, you have to kind of think about it, play it through a lot to really, for me anyway, get what I'm supposed to be doing with the deck. With Imperial Settlers, I might not know all the combos just yet. It's still a discovery there. But I know at least like, okay, I see what this deck wants to focus on. Right? Like if you've got like the Japanese tribe, you got those samurais coming out, and you're there's this specific card where like it gives you things for your samurais and everything. It's like, okay, I understand like what I'm trying to go for there. So I don't know. I really like this game. I love when games give me my own deck of cards to make me feel like, yeah, this is mine. This is my faction, and I'm gonna do it
All
up.
right, though. So my number 29. I'm getting a little nervous as I'm smelling a burning smell from the kitchen, and I'm like,
I smell it too.
I'm like itching to check on what that is, but I'm staying strong. I'm staying strong.
It's just toast. We're okay.
Please. All right. So number 29 is a game that I fell in love with when we first played it. Uh, it's Galaxy Trucker.
Oh.
Pure Ameritrash. So this was the game that I think I realized just how much I love tile laying. I think it's something that like clicks for me. Not saying that all tile laying games are the same, but so one where you're like creating some sort of path or connecting links and whatnot, and trying to like think ahead on what to do with where you don't want your next tiles to go. It's something that kind of clicks for me, and I really enjoy it. And Galaxy Trucker does just that. It's like this ultimate challenge to build my ship in real time while other people are taking stuff from me, from what maybe I wanted. Like I've had it before where I was like, all right, and I'm gonna want to get shields later, and then I realized everybody else was taking shields early, and I'm like not able to find any shields. Uh, there's like that intensity of when you're building your ship and everything, and then you get to watch your ship blow up. But when you make it through like a full deck and your ship is mostly intact, it feels really good. Because if you built a really strong ship, it's possible that you'll get through the whole thing. There's a little bit of luck involved because there's the die rolls on meteors and things like that. And if you're able to dodge through those and whatnot, it's I said it before when you brought up Galaxy Shutter. It's not a game for the faint of heart,
No.
because you really are going to see. It's very likely you're going to see what you created get blown up, and it's going to hurt you. And the rulebook even says if you even scored 1 point, you won, and I like that. Yeah, it's a ton of fun. I like real time. If you're not into real time, I can understand you feeling like about it. And the whole death that you're going through to get stressful if you're really not into watching your ship get blown up. I think it's really cool. I love Tile Lane, and this is one of my favorites from CGE Galaxy Trucker.
I absolutely agree with that pick. It's fantastic. I think that Galaxy Trucker for me is going to go up and up. I made this list when we only played it a couple times. We've played it some more after I made the list. I think it
Right.
would have even been a little bit higher by this point. But I think that one, it might even break into like the top 20 or 10 for me or something. I love that game.
I could definitely see that for you. For me, I think it's right where it is. I think it depends on how much I've played it prior to making my next list.
Got it. Yeah,
That
yeah,
I
yeah.
think that's gonna really influence it.
Well, I'm also because we have the expansion, so I'm wondering if the
Right.
expansion will also like have us jump the list.
That's a good point.
All
All right,
right,
cool.
28. Let's do it.
Number 28, I believe, was the first abstract strategy game I played outside of the staples of like chess and checkers.
Okay.
And I'm a big chess guy, so this game really resonated for me when I first played it. I thought it was really cool. Onitama. So Onitama is this cool game where it's a two-player where both players are controlling like a dojo with like a set of like little martial artist guys, and with this one like head guy. I forget the actual names for them. And what's cool is each player has two cards that tell them how they can move their pieces. And once you've used one, so let's say you use monkey style, uh, so you use that, you move one of your pieces, you put it now to the side, and you take the fifth card that was already at the side. So it kind of works like that, where all the moves that you're able to use keep rotating between the players, right? So whatever move you use this turn, your opponent is going to be able to use not their next turn, but the turn thereafter. And it has these moments where you like get really clever. There's two ways to win, where you either capture the other head guy or you bring your head guy to the other player's dojo. Right there, by the way, I already like that. I like those multiple forms of victory. Yeah, the game that's really thinky and it gives you these clever moments. You really get to look at the board, and it's a really great way for somebody like me that really loves abstract strategy games. It was a really nice transition into board gaming to have a game like that also available. It's like, oh, this is cool. It's not chess, but it reminds me of chess in a really good way, So yeah,
Yeah,
that's my number
I
28.
would say it's better than chess.
I don't know if I would say that. I really like chess. I know that there's a lot of grief with chess.
Well, my number 28, right,
Yeah.
is another LCG. So I spoke about Lord of the Rings in a previous list, but now I have some other LCGs that I like even better. And this one's got that superhero flair to it. Marvel Champions, the card game by Fantasy Flight Games. I have several Fantasy Flight Games stuff on my list. I guess I really like FFG. But yeah, I love superheroes. I like superheroes in board games. I know that, the board game hobby has tons and tons of games about superheroes, specifically Marvel characters too. I guess people love Marvel. I wouldn't say
I
that
want.
Marvel's my
Uh,
favorite superhero
yeah,
stuff.
I just wonder if there's a lot of Marvel stuff because of the whole MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I feel like there's got to be that,
It
like they're
might be.
capitalizing off that.
It might be. It probably is because I don't think uh all these people read the comics. Maybe though. I don't know how many people who are in the board gaming hobby also read comics. I read comics. I like Marvel. I like a lot of different stuff, really. But either way, I love superheroes. So I think, and I love the whole LCG format. I love this game. It kind of combines Sentinels of the Multiverse with what's the other game that I'm thinking of?
Uh,
I don't know. I think
I
maybe
was about to say Marvel Champions.
yeah. It's kind of more adjacent to Sentinels of the Multiverse, I think, as opposed to like Legendary Marvel.
Yeah,
Right? Because I know a lot of people were like, well, if I have Legendary Marvel, do I also need Marvel Champions? I guess if you're looking for like that collection aspect, because Legendary Marvel has so many expansions, it feels like a collection right there. But I feel like gameplay wise, it more resembles Sentinels of the Multiverse, which I already
definitely.
love. I do like Legendary Marvel as well a lot. Um, but yeah, so this one, you've got your villain and you're going up against certain scenarios. You have your own deck. This is a lot like what I was saying about Imperial Settlers, where with this, you have your own deck and you can get it right out of the box, right? Like if I want Thor or Spider-Man or whatever, it already comes pre-built. If I want to use that, I can. I could customize that deck. I love that. It's like, okay, but I still have like I have to use these Spider-Man cards, and then I could use an aspect, right? So he could be aggressive or leadership or whatever it might be. And then you could also throw in some other neutral cards that you want into the deck. So I love the deck building aspect of these LCGs. I love going up against scenarios and the cooperative nature of it. So I like it, and I feel like I'm playing Spider-Man. I think that this game actually brought out the theme more so than many of the other superhero themed games. Uh, with the Marvel licensing, right? So Sentinels I think has a strong theme in there, but this one has that strong theme of like, yes, I feel like I'm playing as Spider-Man with these cards and everything. Like that makes sense and
I
that's clever and
definitely
all that.
100%. I know when I was playing as Iron Man, that felt way more thematic than like let's say Legendary. You know,
Yeah,
Legendary has some theming, but it doesn't. Marvel Champions made you feel like, yeah, I'm playing as this hero.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
Yeah, Iron Man is so cool. You're like actually building the suit out as
yeah,
the game progresses.
it's
It's
you
awesome.
need your tech upgrades. Like
Yes.
it's sweet. Yeah,
Yeah, I love that. So
I,
that's my
I,
number 28, Marvel Champions, LCG.
it's a good pick and it's one that I want to play more. I really just think LCGs have not clicked with me yet. I find them okay, and I
Yeah.
think that I'm going to like them more the more I try them. I'm very much about retrying a game. I haven't played a game where I've straight up been like, "Wow, I don't like this. Don't show this to me." Then that hasn't happened. It's always been
Yeah.
like, I don't know, I was okay on it, but I want to play it again. That's how I feel about LCGs as a whole.
Yeah, I feel like this is something that you would really like. And I think you're right. I think you have to play it a little bit more because everything about it is like Justin would love this, and then you're so like it's okay. I'm like no, you're not getting it.
All right, cool. So, number 27, I believe it's all you.
Oh, okay, cool. So my number 27 is another Fantasy Flight game, and it is actually another and the last LCG on the list. I really like LCGs. I don't know what to say, especially the ones that are cooperative. Um, and this one, it is Arkham Horror, the card game. I love this game. Just a smidge more than Marvel Champions, although I think that Marvel Champions might overtake it at some point. I'm not sure. But Arkham Horror, the card game, is very cool. It's got that story driven nature, which I love. I love the horror theme. I love Cthulhu. I know this is another theme that's used like in every freaking board game, but I love it. So, yeah, and this one's cool. It's got, again, you're customizing your deck. You're playing as one of those investigators, and you're going through the story. It is so hard, this game. I don't think I've ever won. I don't even know if there's a thing as winning in this game, but it's more like, okay, tell me what happened, and then you look to see it like, okay, so this happened, so now I read this excerpt, and then it progresses from the story there on out, which is really, really cool. I love that. There's multiple paths to victory usually. There's multiple paths to just like what happens in the story based on the things that unraveled in the game.
Yeah, I don't know. The story driven games in general are something that's like a thin line for me. When I start to feel like I'm not playing a game so much as reading a story, it starts to hurt the game a little bit for me.
Arkham Horror LCG is not like that.
All right.
You're 90% of the time you're playing a game. That's
Okay.
what you're doing. And
All right.
then you're making choices in the game and things are happening in the game. And then once you're done with the game, you read an excerpt.
All right. Cool. Just truthfully,
Yeah. And
so
it's short, the excerpts. It's not like you're
right.
reading a whole, it's not like that.
Truthfully, Chronicles of Crime teetered on that edge for me, but it landed on the good side, and on the really good side, it didn't make this list because I had just played it recently, but I think it's something that's going to because it's story driven in a fantastic way for me, where I still feel like, oh, the things that I'm doing matter heavily for what's happening in this story and what I'm going to find out and everything. So
That's actually a good point. Chronicles of Crime didn't hit my list either because I made the list before we really started playing the game.
right.
But it probably would have hit this list. It's so good, that game.
All right. So my number 27 is actually right back here. Cartographers by Thunderwords. Look how pretty this box is.
I like it. I like that art.
I love this box, the texture, the colors, and that's all I have to say about this game. So no, I really do actually though. Like this artwork is something that the box cover, everything, it makes me so excited to pull it from the shelf. Like it's one of those things. So that's something that's definitely affected the game for me. But it's something that I've been playing a lot, and it hasn't gotten stale at all. It's a roll and write or flip and fill. It's really a flip and fill, uh, where you're like building, you're mapping. You're sorry, you're mapping out the lands for the queen, and all the players are doing this. So you'll flip it, and it'll have a shape with either two colors, or maybe it's one color, two shapes, and you have to draw in where you'd like to. The game's not very thematic, right? But it's really good. There's these 4 different objectives and each one will be stored twice throughout the game. And there's also ways to get coins by like surrounding mountains or choosing the smaller shapes sometimes. And those add up cumulatively at the end. I don't know how to explain it. It's just very simple fun for me. If you're into those Tetrisy style games, there's all of its like Tetrisy shapes. I really like that myself, and I think that's a big reason why I liked it. It's a very easy one to get people playing all together, large groups, small groups. Like it doesn't matter what size, it always works, in my opinion. I haven't had a bad experience in this game, and because of so there's 4 different objectives, but each one is randomized, so there's also a decent amount of replayability on what you're going to be going for that game. It's great. I've played it also remotely with people. There's not a ton going on in the game, but there's enough where it's just like super engaged each time. And yeah, I really don't think I've had a bad experience with this game. It's my favorite roll and write currently. There's one that is higher on my list that's only kind of a roll and write, like it's arguable. The way we play it though isn't, so we'll get to that. Yeah, so Cartographers, my number 27. Really love this game. If you like roll and writes, can't recommend it enough. Get the Crayola color pencils expansion also. It is essential. We have colored pencils for the game, and it ups the game for me.
Yeah,
Honestly, it
yeah.
makes the map and everything look a lot prettier. So yeah, can't recommend it enough.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of roll and writes usually, I found, but this is definitely one of my favorite roll and writes for sure. All
It's
right.
a lot of good decision making in this game
Yeah,
for a roll
that's
and
what I
write.
like.
Gotta
Yes.
admit.
All right, number 26.
All right, my number 26 was so close to being in my top 25. I really wanted this one to hit my top 25, actually. This was one of those games that it was one of my earliest loves in board gaming we played it a lot, and what's funny about it is I think I've only played half of the game. It's a 1v all where I don't think I've ever been part of the all. I've always been the one. Do you know
Okay.
what it is?
Not alone.
Not alone. So it's this game where players have like I think it's like they've crash landed on a planet that has this alien that's trying to assimilate them. Well, I guess the alien's not the alien. It's called the monster. The rest of
Right.
the players are aliens in this
Yeah, that's
circumstance.
true, actually.
And so they're trying to assimilate the monster is trying to assimilate all the players by you know there's there's 10 locations. The players are able to put base down what location they're going to. The monster will then hunt at any location they choose. Everybody flips. Whoever was at the location, the monster moves up on their track, and then the players move up on their track each turn. And it's kind of a race for the monster to catch and assimilate the players before the players are able to leave. Uh, I think I've only played this game as the monster, so I can't attest to how fun it is playing the all. Playing the monster is so much fun for me, though. So it's not just hunting. You also have cards that you're able to use once per round that have cool different effects. You gotta really think about when to use them. And it's really fun to think about, all right, which location do the players want to go to? Because each one has a special ability. Like, okay, they obviously want to go to this location because it'll move them up on the track. But they're not going to go there every time because they're thinking, oh, I might go there. So I start thinking, all right, they might think I'm going here. So because they think that I'm going to go here, because I bet they're going that, it's a whole psychology, like trying to do a reverse psychology on people and whatnot.
Oh, right. Well, my number 26 is a two-player game, and it is Seven Wonders Duel by Repos Games. I
Wow.
really like this game. This game is, it's a lot like Seven Wonders, only it's almost like a Seven Wonders adjacent game. It feels different enough to be its own game. But yeah, so I love the drafting mechanic where it's like you kind of set it all out as like a pyramid, the cards, and then you take one of the cards, which leaves open then now some other cards that were left underneath it, right? It's like you now freed open some of those cards. Um, so there's a little bit more decision where it's like, oh, I really want that card, but I don't want that to be free for my opponent, right? So do
Yeah.
I take this card then? And maybe, whatever it might be. So it's very, very cool. I like it. It's kind of thinky. There's a lot of strategy in the game, I think. And I just love the theme wrapped around it with, like, yes, I'm building my civilization. I have these resources now. And I have these my wonders being built if I want to, and I like that aspect where it's like if I've built four of my wonders, now you can only build three as my opponent because there can only be seven wonders. So I kind of like that little thing that was added to Seven Wonders Duel. So that's my number 26, Seven Wonders Duel.
Yeah, Seven Wonders being a card drafting game that's really hard to manage when it's two players.
Yeah, they
So,
did a really clever mechanic in this one.
they did. That was smart of them because I know, like Bunny Kingdom, for example, which was on my list earlier. I've played it multiple times with two players, and I'm okay with it. I like it at two players, but it's not the same.
Yeah,
It's not the same when you're playing a card drafting game at two versus a higher count. So it was really smart of them to come out with the two-player version of
yeah.
Seven Wonders. I like
It's
that.
really good.
Yeah. All right.
Right. Up to the top half now of our list. We're up to number 25. What?
Yes. Whew.
Yo, I'm excited. We got some really good games. I
Yeah,
think it's
this
my
is
turn.
interesting. Yes.
So my number 25 is another Repost Games game and also has to do with civilization. And it is regular Seven Wonders.
I was like, is it? Yeah, it
Yeah,
is.
so it is just a smidge higher than Seven Wonders Duel now, and I realized that I actually did this a lot on my list, where it's like two of the like similar games or whatever in the same genre are like next to each other, but I like one that's smidge more or something like that. I know a lot of people like Seven Wonders Duel better even than regular original Seven Wonders. I really like both. I guess it could have swapped on any given day, but at the end of the day, I wanted to say that Seven Wonders I like just a little bit better than Duel. And I guess I like the whole nature of like, yes, we could play with 7 different people this game. It has that card drafting going around, like, your original card drafting ways or whatever mechanic, and you're building up your civilization, right? You're grabbing resources. I like the whole I'm only comparing to my adjacent seated partners, I guess, where I could trade with them and I could battle with them and all that stuff. I really like that. And now Seven Wonders Duel gives that multiple paths to victory, which is very, very cool that Seven Wonders doesn't quite have, but you can focus on different things to get more and more points. And we just got the Seven Wonders Armada expansion, which I really, really like. People don't really talk about that expansion for some reason, I think. When it first came out, people were like, oh, Armada. And then it just like, poof,
I
gone.
I wonder
Um,
if it adds too much to the game for some people.
It might. It definitely
Maybe.
ups the level of the game, right? I felt like
Right.
Seven Wonders was already sort of a step up game, so not exactly a gateway game, but like just above that for people. And I think Armada really adds a whole nother layer of like complexity and strategy, I think, right? And I like it. It gives you more choices of like, okay, I could use this card for my board, or I could take this card, that way I could move up my ship along that track and whatever. I love that. And then it even adds exploration with the green cards where you're moving up that green track. And I love exploration in games. So I don't know. I love Seven Wonders. I love Armada. And that is my number 25 to break into the top half of my list.
Is Armada essential for you?
No,
Yeah, I
definitely
wouldn't say
not.
so either.
It's not essential. If you're looking for something that, you really like Seven Wonders and now you're looking for just a little bit more, and if you like there's a track now that you're looking at to give you more benefits and you like exploration and stuff, I think that Armada would be cool for you. But if
Yeah.
you like just the way Seven Wonders is, where it is the super light little thing and you're going around, whatever, then no, I don't think it's an essential expansion.
Yeah. All right, I agree with that. Well, my number 25 is uh came out in 2016, designed by Bruno Cathala.
Ooh.
It's probably my favorite filler game. If you're calling this a filler, by the
Oh,
way, this
okay.
is a loose filler. This is a loose filler. I consider it a filler because I've definitely played it where it's like I want to play a 20-minute game. If you don't have to teach this game can be a snappy 20-minute game. Kingdomino.
Okay, yeah. At first, when you were confusing me when you were like, it's sort of a filler. I'm like, wait, what? And then you're like, yeah, it could be played in 20 minutes. I was like, it has to be this.
Yeah, because so Kingdomino for me, it's just so good, which is why I don't think of it as a shit filler because of just how good it is. Like I love this game. Uh, you have to make you. It's not. Is that drafting? What would you call that when you're deciding on which one to take? Like
um,
when you're
Tile
deciding which
drafting.
tile is it tile drafting? Okay, I don't want to call it drafting without it actually being referred to as drafting. All right. So you do like this tile drafting where it also decides the order of the next draft, and you then get to take the tile and add it to your kingdom. And your kingdom can't go beyond a 5 by 5 square, which is something that some people will screw up. So if you're playing with a new player, and especially if they're not familiar, if you just tell them a 5 by 5 square, they might pay attention. They might mess up. Like there are some people that are like that's not something they're familiar with, and that's fine. And by the way, I've screwed up having played this game multiple times where I'll store at the end and I'll be like, I have a 6 by 4. Like, what did I do? Um, yeah, the game's a lot of fun. I found that also it plays well at 2 to 4. I'm okay with it at all those players.
Yeah, I really like the idea of I'm picking my tile, which also determines when I get to pick for the next round. That is very
Yeah,
cool. I like that a lot.
because it's a trade off. It's like more of a trade off than you'll realize sometimes
Hmm.
too.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
And the rulebook provides the amount of tiles in the back, which I like for people that want to
Hmm.
take it to that level where you're just like, wait, are there any more of these coming out? Should I
Yeah.
even care? Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, my number 24 Oh wait, is it my turn?
Oh, wait, did you already say you're 25?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, yeah, yours was Seven Wonders. Oh, sorry. So now we're on to our 24.
Yeah. Okay, so it's your turn. Go for it.
All right, so my number 24 is, I'm going to say this, it's a game, I think you would not expect to be this high on my list, but B, I don't think you thought it would hit my list. And it's a game you were really
Give me a
mad
hint.
at
Give me a
me.
hint.
All right, you were really mad at me because I didn't like this game when I first played it. The first couple of times I played it, I was like, eh. It's card drafting.
Oh.
I think that should be obvious now.
Oh. 7 wonders?
Seven Wonders.
Wow. Okay. Wow. So it's even like a little bit higher for you.
Yeah. So one
That's
thing that
hilarious.
yeah, I've actually kind of also been feeling like your list is kind of organized where I feel like you almost ranked genres and put the games that you love from that genre.
I did. I didn't do that on purpose,
I
but it happened that way.
I know mine is all over the place.
Yeah.
All over the place. Mine is insanely all over the place.
Okay.
Uh Seven Wonders is a game that I loved the first time I played it. That
Yeah. I begged this kid to love it.
I know. So, all right. I used to be a big Magic player, and I used to play in Magic the Gathering drafts, booster drafts, where you draft from booster packs. And when I first started to stop playing Magic and go more into board gaming, and I still play Magic sometimes, but I started to go more into board gaming, card drafting fell flat because I kept expecting it to be something like Magic where you draft and then you play the game, where instead it was you draft and that was the game. And I think once I finally started to get used to that and everything, card drafting really, I was like, oh, I like card drafting. Okay, I love card drafting because I loved it in Magic. And Seven Wonders to me is a really great example of a good card drafting game. One that just has it where it's like, oh, I'm looking at my cards. I know the person next to me wants this card. And I know I even slightly want it, but I want this one kind of more. What am I taking here? And we've definitely played it where it causes some analysis paralysis. And it's one that it's simple enough to be a gateway game. I just think card drafting is tricky to show somebody that doesn't know card drafting. That's the only reason why I would call this step up, because card drafting is something hard for it to like click. It's a very different thing for people that haven't really played something like that. And yeah, I mean, I also, by the way, grew up playing Civilization, the video game, Sid Meier's. And so Seven Wonders kind of again like hits that for me because of like, you can build wonders in Sid Meier's and stuff. So I love that. Yeah, I don't know. I want to go too on about it, but I love card drafting, and Seven Wonders is a game that went from I don't like this game to man, I love this game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't realize how much you love it now. I thought it might hit your top 51 because you've been saying like, yeah, I like it now, whatever. But I didn't really like top 25. I didn't
Yeah.
realize like you love it.
Well, that's
I
the
thought
thing,
you
yeah.
should have loved it. So it's finally like the reckoning is here.
Yeah. There's another game on this section of the list that's like this. A couple of these games that were hitting very high on my list, I didn't realize how much I loved it till I started making this list and I started really thinking, I'm like, wow, I love this game. Like this is great. And I will say this also, Armada is an expansion that even though I like it, I could see even like everybody that's played Armada and regular Seven Wonders sitting down to play and just deciding to play Seven Wonders. Because Armada does add a decent amount to the game where it might be like, no, I don't want to deal with all of that right
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, for
right
sure.
though. So yeah,
All right, my
24.
number 24 is a Stonemaier game. Uh, this might be the first Stonemaier on the list. I don't remember, but anyway. Um, so yeah, this game it's probably one of the least favorites of the Stonemaier collection, I think, for popular opinion. I really like it. It is Charterstone. This is a legacy game that, and I agree, the legacy aspect of the game, it's not, there's some story in there, but it's not super prominent. It's not like a really good story going on. It's just kind of like, and the king is mad and blah blah blah,
Yeah, it's
Um,
very forced.
yeah, and it's not even. It just feels kind of like an app cartoon kind of thing,
Yeah.
or like Overcooked, where there's not much story going on, but like the king hamburger guy or whatever is like, our food needs to happen,
That is, yes, that's the perfect way to explain it. Completely agree with that.
But I really like this game. It's a really cool worker placement game. It's breezy. I love the mechanic of like you are just like you're putting on one worker and then the next round comes over and you put on another worker and somebody could bump your worker by taking that space, or you're going to have to spend a whole turn taking back your workers, right? It's very snappy. You're taking one action and the actions make sense. I think that the biggest thing for me is in between games takes very long to hit the table because we're playing a six-player game because we're dumb and uh, we need to get those six players back together every time now. Stupid, stupid, stupid. uh, but the rulebook says that you could have players drop in and out, and like you could just use the Automa, and then when they come back, they could play. But nobody wants that. I personally, it's my game. I'm almost like I don't care if you're here. I'm gonna play it, but I don't want to be mean either. But anyway, uh, and we've seen this in Stonemaier games before, where it's like, yes, you place your worker, you can bump workers, whatever. But yeah, I love the artwork in the game. It's kind of got like that cartoonish feel, but not like too cartoony in a way.
Yeah.
It's charming, the game. I love the look. It's charming. The gameplay is charming. It feels like a game I want to play during the fall time.
Oh, it's super fall driven. I mean, it's use pumpkins.
Yeah,
Like,
pumpkins, apples, all those things.
yeah,
It's just cool. The legacy aspect there is really, it's almost like a tutorial where you're just kind of learning more and more rules. And
yeah.
so in between, what my original point was, it's not that hard of a game, but for some reason I can't remember all of the rules by the time like I played like 3 months ago to now. And because the legacy and legacies just do this regardless, where they keep adding rules, and I have to remember like, okay, what's the new stuff? What was all that stuff? But at the end of the day, it's really not that hard or complicated, but I like it. It's very charming of a game. So my number 24 is Charterstone.
Charming is the perfect way to describe that game. And
Yep.
I agree. It's of the Stonemaiers I've played, I think that is my least favorite as well.
Mm.
And it still hit my top 51. Like, you know?
Yeah, I just like the Stonemaier games. They're great.
Yeah, they really are.
All right, number 23. And I believe it's my turn. So
Yeah.
for 23, this is a game. It's a sci-fi space sort of game. And you're trying to terraform Mars.
I wonder what it is.
Yeah, so my number 23 is Terraforming Mars by Stronghold Games. And this is a game you could use card drafting. We actually haven't even used that rule, and I really want to. This is a game that hasn't been played enough by us, I think. But you have these cards, you have your company, and you're trying to gain different resources, right? And you're collectively trying to terraform Mars, right? But you're trying to be the company that does it the best. So it's almost like a semi co-op, but it doesn't feel like a co-op at all. It's really
No,
not
yeah.
like that at all. You're Everybody's just trying to terraform this planet. You're trying to get the oxygen levels right, the temperature right, all those things, and you're trying to build your little buildings and everything like that. I really like this game. I love the theming of it. I know that people have problems, and I have problems too with the component. Some of the artwork is, uh, but
I forgot how bad the component quality is.
yeah,
I opened it up, and when I saw what like the player boards are, you can't call those player boards, by the way.
yeah,
That's player like plastics. That's not a board. What? What? I did not
yeah.
remember how bad it was. Oh,
It's not really something to write home about, but the game is brilliant. It's fantastic. I've seen plenty of people upgrade this game to
yeah.
no end. I would like to do that, but it's not really my game, so I won't. But that is my number 23, Terraforming Mars. That really needs to get to the table much more than it does.
Yeah, I agree with that a lot. And I also think, though, thematically, something you touched on was how it's like it's semi co-op, but it's not co-op whatsoever because we're all working together. See, that's the thing. We're all working on terraforming Mars, but we're not working together on
Yeah,
terraforming
yeah.
Mars.
It's just that what we're doing is also influencing other people, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, to me, it actually also that's kind of thematic of how it's like because we're all businesses, we're all
Yeah,
corporations doing this.
yeah,
It's not a government. I think you tend to. I forget. It's not called government funding in the game, but the government I think plays a small role in one of the objectives. I
It's
might be
no, I
totally wrong.
think that you can fund different awards.
Right, my bad,
Yeah,
my bad. Yeah, you fund different awards, which you then yourself can win.
yeah, which is
But
a really weird part of the game.
yeah, but I like it though because that like business aspect
Yeah,
it's very thematic in the sense of yeah we're competing with each other even though we all have the same goal. It's no but we want to be the best. Like
yes.
we're competing with each other like that. Yeah, it's a cool theme, and you're right, it didn't make my list I think because of how much it doesn't get played by me specifically. uh it's one that if I started playing it more it might hit because I do like those kinds of Euro games,
Yeah,
so we'll see.
yeah.
All right. My number 23 is the opposite of heavy. It does not hit the table enough, though, in my opinion, just because, I mean, for me, lighter games are easier to bring to the table. This one's hard because it's like dividing in the sense of some people love it and some people are just like, I don't care at all about this game. I can't believe it's even called a game. Don't. Like, some people are like that. Uh, it's Dixit. So
Okay.
Dixit is this game. I'm going to call it a game because it has a score and a winner at the end. Just as we're collectively having fun, even if you lost, does not mean it's not a game. All right, that's how I view. That's what I think people are saying, but whatever. So Dixit, everybody gets a hand of cards that has awesome, unique artwork on it, right? So one player then is going to have to say some sort of phrase or statement or something having to do with their card. They're going to then place it face down, and then everybody else has to put one that they think kind of resembles that also. And then you shuffle it up and you lay them out. And the goal for the person who said the phrase or statement is some people have to guess correctly that, yeah, that this is your artwork, this is the one you put in, with some people getting it wrong. If everybody gets it right or everybody gets it wrong, it hurts the person that said the phrase or statement. All right? I hope I kind of explained that. uh, I love it. It's so chill. The artwork is awesome. The experiences are a lot of fun. I love games where you get to be creative like that.
Mhm.
That's something that's really exciting for me when you get to do that. There's a game that's actually in the Nets top 10, I'm not to say, but it does that similar feeling. And I guess there's not many games that give me that feeling. Uh, this is one of them, and I think does a really good job. Like I said, though, I think some people don't feel of it as much of like a game. To me, you're like instead of tapping into like that mathy side of your brain, you're tapping into a very like creative,
Yeah.
artistic side of your brain and stuff. And I really like that. I've recently been liking painting more too. I'm not much of an artist, but I like creating stuff. Uh, and I think that this game does that for me. And I really like that, hitting that creativity stuff. That's awesome. I love a game that can do that for me. I mean, Pictionary is one that like it's kind of fun because you get to tap into your artistic side. Pictionary doesn't hit my list, but anyways, I really like this game. I know you do too, Melissa, but it's hard to hit the table because there are some people in our group that are like, I'm too either anxious to make up a phrase or they're like, this isn't a game. Don't put this in front of me.
I haven't heard that about it. It's not a game, but
I,
yeah, I've heard people getting anxious over the game, which is interesting to me because I feel this game is so chill, but
yeah,
whatever.
I agree for sure. Yeah, I don't know, but I know when we were at Pat's Unplugged and we were playing Obscurio, there's this guy in our group. We were doing a learn and play at Pads and Blood, and there's this guy in our group that asked, "Have you ever played Mysterium?" And I was like, "No," and he said, "It's like Dixit, but with a purpose." I was like, "Well, wait, Dixit has a purpose," and he's like, "No, it doesn't."
Okay.
Truthfully, I guess there is no story behind why you're doing what you're doing in Dixit, but it's a lot of fun for me. I love it. I recommend it.
You could say that about any Euro game.
Castles of Burgundy has no theme. Anyway, I agree with that completely. Yes.
All
All right.
right. Number 22.
All right. So 22 is a game that is oozing with theme and totally has a purpose.
Okay.
It's a fun 2-player deck building game that really taps into my love for baseball. Baseball Highlights 2045. So it essentially simulates a World Series between the two players, where what's really cool is it takes place in 2045. So there's not only humans playing baseball, there's humans, cyborgs, and robots. And also the humans are called naturals instead of humans. I like that.
Yeah.
So the artwork in the game throughout is all old school baseball. Like it's very old school baseball, the uniforms and everything, and it's purposely looking like this old school kind of thing. I love that. That already was just super cool. It looks like it's from like the 1910s baseball, or 1920s, whatever. That right there is really cool. The other thing they do, and I don't know if it was for legal reasons or just as it's funny, they combine different names from different players. So there's one character, I think the name is like Max Verlander, and I'm pretty sure they're using Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander and just combine those two. Things like that. I love it a lot. I don't know how I can quickly explain the mechanics, but it's card drafting, and then you play, and you might be like threatening a single, double, home run, and then your opponent plays something, and it might stop whatever hits you were going to get, and then they might be threatening a single, double, and whatnot. And it plays though like baseball in terms of runs and everything. So if you know the rules of baseball, it won't be too hard to pick it up. I don't know how hard it is if you don't know the rules of baseball, or how engaging it is if you don't like baseball. I love baseball. I love this game. Every time I see on Reddit, I actually recommended it on the baseball subreddit this morning. I recommended it whenever I see like a baseball post having to even be slightly talked about board games. I will be like, "Have you played Baseball Highlights 2045?" Because I love this game. Cannot recommend it enough. If you love baseball, you love board games, get this game.
Yeah, the only thing I would say it's more deck building than card drafting.
Did I say card drafting at some point?
Yeah.
Sorry, I meant deck building. I meant deck building, not card drafting at all. I don't
That's a
think there's
good
any
game.
drafting. Yeah.
That's a good game. It did not hit the list for me. It made my short
What?
list. It was number 55. I thought you might think it was on my list, but it did not hit it. I do
Ah,
really like that game though.
I take that as offense since we've only played us two, so that means I like playing with
Well,
you and you don't like playing with me.
that's actually why it didn't hit the list. I was like, man, if only
Yeah.
I had a more fun opponent.
Yeah. If it had a
Component.
solo mode,
If it had a solo mode,
you would like it.
perfect. Yes.
All
All right.
right.
My number 22 is a frantic co-op game, real time, by Sit Down, and it is Magic Maze.
Yes.
You don't control any of the pieces. You actually control like a direction, or if like you're allowed to make players go up the escalator, things like that, or use the portals and whatnot. I love this game. You can't talk. Okay. People put that big red pawn in front of people. I think Justin might have already spoken about this game
Yeah.
before, so I won't get too much into it. But this is, I love it. I love watching people really trying hard to not say anything. Um, but everybody going so frantic. I've played this game at 8 players and it was awesome. Now it could get really toxic really quick when as with any co-op game where people, you have some of your alpha gamers who are like, well, why didn't you do this? You suck, um, and we don't need that in our lives. But Magic Maze is my number 22, and I love this game to pieces.
I think it cuts alpha gaming a little bit in the sense of all you can say is you needed to move left, you idiot. And then that person's going to be like, I didn't see it. And you really can't go further than that. No, that's a great pick. I knew it was going to be high on your list. It was my number 40. I knew it was
Yeah.
going to be higher on your list. I wasn't sure how high. 22 made sense.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think I even said it's my favorite party game. I think I said that on Twitter.
right.
Um, and it's my favorite party game. I love this game so much. All right, number 21 to end off this list here. And this is another cooperative game. I love co-ops. This is, I guess it was supposed to be the only board game from this company, but now it seems that they're going to be making more board games. They said they would never continue this game, but I'm really hoping they do. And I'm talking about. Can you guess it, Justin?
No, can I get a hint? Why am I so confused?
It's mostly a video game company.
All right, I know it.
Mechs versus Minions by Riot Games. Wow,
Nice.
I love this game. So me and Justin, we played League of Legends. We've played League of Legends for years now at this point, uh, and it's probably at least one of our favorite video games of all time. And Mechs versus Minions, I love actually that it didn't make it. It's based on League of Legends, but it didn't make it a MOBA that League of Legends is. It made it a cooperative game and a programming game at that, and it's cool. You're card drafting in real time. It's got that timed element, that way people can't just like sit there for an hour choosing what card they want. You have to go, right, and you're building your engine and you're messing up. And I love the progression where like your mech is banging into walls, or just shooting randomly at nothing at the beginning, and by the end you're this like mean, lean killing machine, and you're going around like just all these minions that are coming out. And I just love it. I love it comes with a whole bunch of miniatures. I love the production of this game where you could put back the pieces in any spot. They've made the molding so that any of those minions, of those like 100 million minions, could go in any of those spots. I love that. I love this game. It's campaign style, but you could pick out whichever scenario you want to play and just replay it if you want. Mechs versus Minions, my number 21.
Yeah, we need that for more games where you can put miniatures back wherever you want. I'm
Yes.
gonna trash on Blood Rage again for a second.
Yeah.
It is so frustrating at the end of a game looking at the plastic molds, and they look so similar, and then you try to put a miniature back in, and it's like that doesn't work.
Like shoving
That
it
doesn't
in.
work.
Come on.
Please, please. Yeah, no, Mets versus Minions, fantastic. Respect that pick a lot.
Thank you. Did it hit your list yet, or at
It
all?
already
Well,
did.
I don't
It
know if it
was
hit me.
my 39 actually.
Oh, it did. Okay, cool, cool,
Yeah,
cool.
that was
Good.
one that drew me a lot.
Yeah.
The programming aspect, the fact that when you're picking the new card that you're gonna wind up putting down onto your board, the fact that that's timed is really great because people are, right before we start it, will be like, okay, I think I need this, I think I need this, and whatnot, and then we look at what our options are. Time starts, and it's like, oh god, I got hit, and then just go. You can't just be like, okay, so everybody, there's this, this, and this. Let's see what we can do. Like that would be so much more boring. It's like, I just thought you can really screw up in that
Yes.
phase. It's awesome.
Yeah, I love it.
All right, so we are on to our number 21. Oh, did you already
Yes.
wait? Was Metzger's Minion your 21?
That was
My
my
bad.
number 21. Yeah.
Okay, sorry. All right, my number 21 is, I think it's. Oh no, it's not. Never mind. I was gonna say a lie. Uh, this is definitely like the cult of the new pit for people. It's 2 years old now. But it's something that like hit with a splash, especially for like a heavy Euro game. I believe this is one of the ones from that like group of Italian designers, which is really cool. Uh, so it's Teotihuacan. I think I'm saying that right. It might be Teotihuacan.
Who knows?
Who cares? That's the real no.
Let's just
Okay.
throw it out, burn
Yeah.
it.
We usually just call it Teo in the
Yeah.
house, but yeah, Teotihuacan. All right. So that game is so smooth for how thinky it is. I love that smooth gameplay. It's the reason why Trismegistus also wasn't great for me. I didn't feel a smoothness in Trismegistus. This game is so smooth. It is barely thematic. It has, I'm only even calling it slightly thematic because of the pyramid you're building with the
Mhm.
steps and the Avenue of the Dead track.
Mhm.
Um, that is really where I guess you get the theme and I guess the master also. It's not really themey though, but it is cool. Seeing the pyramid build up and everything is really cool. It's super thinky and it but that smoothness to it and it plays in like an hour and a half, 2 hours. Unless you have somebody that has bad AP, that's going to really crank this game up because you can totally get AP in this game. Because you might want to be planning like 3 or 4 moves ahead and you can really just stare and be like, what do I do? Um, I love it. I think there's like a lot of decision making to go on. Something that I thought would have hurt this game for me was that you have to pay Coco for your workers at the end. That is something that sometimes bothers me when you have to pay for your workers. I know some people don't like that, some people do like that. I'm in the middle. This was a game that I liked it. It added that layer for me of like I sometimes have to move and collect Coco. I can't do the action of that place.
Mhm.
Uh, it's really cool, really smooth, really thinky. Teotihuacan.
Yeah, I do really enjoy that game. Did not hit the list. I like Trismegistus a little bit better, although that might switch. Who knows? At some point. But anyway, thank you so much for watching this list and whatnot and bearing with us. And we're in the top half, so it's going to be cool. We're going to come back with our top 20 to 11, I believe, right?
Yes.
But yes, thank you so much for listening and or watching. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Melissa McCack. You could also follow our Facebook page called Room 51 and let us know, what do you think of the list? What are some of your games that you really like? We would love to know. You've been listening to / watching Room 51.
Bye, everyone.
Bye bye.